Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonso. Today I will be your guide through history as we take a look at what happened to Babylon. Before we begin, just a reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. Mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. Then one of the 7 angels, who had 7 bowls, came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute, who is seated on many waters, with whom kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers on earth have become drunk." And carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written the name of mystery, Babylon, the great mother of prostitutes and earth's abominations. Revelation 17:1-18. John relates that one of the 7 angels with bowls invited him, but he does not specify which one. His vision here is to see judgment on a symbolic woman living in a symbolic location. The following descriptions are ornate and meant as symbolic metaphors. Their non-literal intent is made clear in the next passage, starting in chapter 8, where the angel explains what each of these images is meant to symbolize. The angel's invitation to John begins with another infamous figure in the end times, sometimes referred to as Whore of Babylon or Mystery of Babylon. Scholars are divided in their interpretation of the identity of this prostitute. Later verses connect this symbolic woman named Babylon with the city. Some say that this points to Rome, meaning Catholicism, while others identify Jerusalem, meaning Judaism. However, this symbolic prostitute is probably an incorporation of corrupt religions. Some commenters suggest that this is a reference to a general ungodly humanistic version of spirituality, and this ungodly and corrupt approach to religion and morality is about to receive divine judgment. When the name Babylon is brought up, for many this image is what immediately comes to mind. However, is this a true depiction of ancient Babylon? Let's begin with what are the historical facts about this once great empire. The name Babylon is derived from the native Babylonian Babalim, meaning gate of the gods. Babylon was the capital of the ancient Babylonian Empire, which itself is a term referring to either of the 2 separate empires in the Mesopotamian area in antiquity. These 2 empires achieved regional dominance between the 19th and 15th centuries before the Common Era, and again between the 7th and 6th centuries before the Common Era. The city, built along the banks of the Euphrates rivers, had steep embankments to contain the seasonal floods. The earliest known mention of Babylon as a small town appears on a clay tablet from the reign of Sargon of Akkad of the Akkadian Empire. The site of the ancient city lies just south of present-day Baghdad. The last known record of habitation of the town dates from the 10th century AD, when it was referred to as a small village of Babel. The town became part of the small independent state with the rise of the first Babylonian dynasty in the 19th century before the Common Era. The Amorite king Hammurabi founded the short-lived Old Babylonian Empire in the 18th century before the Common Era. He built Babylon into a major city and declared himself king. Southern Mesopotamia became known as Babylonia or Babylon, eclipsed Nippur and the other region's holy city. The empire waned under Hammurabi's son, Samsu-iluna, and Babylon spent long periods under Assyrian, Kassite, and Elamite domination. After the Assyrians had destroyed and then rebuilt it, Babylon became the capital of the short-lived Neo-Babylonian Empire. a Neo-Assyrian successor state from 609 to 539 before the Common Era. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon ranked as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. After the fall of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, the city came under the rule of Achaemenid, Seleucid, Parthian, Roman, and Sassanid empires. It has been estimated that at one time, Babylon was the largest city in the world and perhaps the first city to reach a population of over 200,000. The remains of the city are in present-day Hilla, Babel Governorate, and Iraq, about 85 kilometers south of Baghdad. They comprise a large tell of broken mud brick buildings and debris. The main sources of information about Babylon excavation of the site itself, references in cuneiform texts found elsewhere in Mesopotamia, references in the Bible, descriptions in other classical writings, especially Herodotus, and second-hand descriptions of Ctesias and Berosus present an incomplete and sometimes contradictory of the ancient city, even at its peak in the 6th century before the Common Era. UNESCO inscribed Babylon as a World Heritage Site in 2019. This brings us to the end of what happened to Babylon. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Traveler's Tales. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to Traveler's Tales. This really is the best way to help our channel grow. Just as a reminder, we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. For your convenience, we'll also post our email address and Instagram information. Traveler's Tales will return with What Happened to Babylon, Part 2. Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and history, Katistos.